Okay, welcome back, guys, to my channel, and I'm sorry I haven't posted that much. Sorry I haven't posted that much, but yeah, my views are improving. It's not bad. It's not the way it was before my break for not posting, but it's getting there. But yeah, I'm gonna do what if Deku was a vigilante. Part 3. The training begins. So, without further ado, let's begin. Now, where we last left off, the mysterious girl, called herself, introduced herself as Kokomi Suzuki. Now, let's begin. So, your name is Kokomi Suzuki, huh? Deku. Deku says, as he's looking at her and basically analyzing her, and yeah, he's analyzing her body, not in a perverted way or anything. He is trying to estimate how much strength she has, her strength. So basically, Kokomi Suzuki is nervous because she has known Deku, for the past couple. She's heard of Deku for the last couple of weeks now, but she hasn't actually. She's very nervous because he's her favorite, vigilante, as she thinks that what Deku's doing is right, that the heroes are not doing their jobs right because criminals are always breaking out of jail and stuff like that, the villains, and even if they so I'm not gonna explain too much into that, but more the details later on. So basically, then Deku stopped wasting time and told her to come along into his room. So the house is it's a abandoned house in the forest. It's a mid-tier house, someone that is someone that's has average money, average house. That's what it is. So it has a bedroom, a room, a living room, a kitchen, the normal stuff. So Deku basically guides her to his room, and gave her and opened his drawer and gave her weighted clothing. He said to put it on whenever you're at school, whenever you're doing daily tasks, and whenever you're in training, and you take it off when you're using the bathroom and when you're sleeping. So as she nodded, and then Kokomi then got holded it, and it was so heavy she had to just drop it, and even created a little crack on the old wooden floor, as the wood is already rotten and dead. So Deku then sighs and says, "Don't drop it again. This house is already old. That it's already broken and damaged as it is, even with my cleaning. So don't damage my house, okay?" So Kokomi then apologized very profusely and put on the weighted vest. And Deku thought that was enough. However, thought that was enough for now, and so she's gotten used to it. Then she's gonna So then she started training, and Deku is sparring, and Kokomi does not have any martial arts experience in fighting. She basically has the strength of an average girl, and it was always because people were putting it down and stuff like that, and she didn't bother to do anything. She couldn't really train because when people put her down, she believed it because she was a kid at the time. But when she saw Deku, she got inspired. So she started training, and they started, working out daily. She's wearing it in school. At first, she was very exhausted, and she got all the sleep she could. And she was, she even went the extra mile and overworked herself. However, Deku told her to stop and said that that's the important thing. However, Deku's saying that because Deku's only saying that because Deku knows about his quirk, because he found out about it. He found out about it. So he told her that, overworking and pushing yourself is good and all, but you need to know when to stop and recuperate and rest. And and she learned it, and she calmed down a bit. Now basically Deku is doing light vigilante work, as he has to keep training Kokomi until she's strong enough to actually be his sidekick, because he agreed to it, but he has to train her first. So now we go to Deku doing his vigilante work, and now we go to somebody like fighting Deku. So this guy has a quirk called spikes, as he can make spikes from anywhere on his body, and he can even make spikes appear on the ground, the walls, whatever he wants spikes to be. And he hasn't trained this ability because he was already as strong as it was. So he basically stopped training it. He could have made it, the spikes go much further, but he just stopped. So, So as he's fighting, Deku, he's fighting. Oh, by the way, guys, I need to say this. I forgot to say this earlier, but I need to retcon that Deku was only using 3% of his power when he was fighting the monster guy. Anyways, so as he was fighting, he was dodging the attack swiftly, as he nailed the man with the spikes right in the stomach, as the man was coughing up massive amounts of blood, as basically the spike guy, or spike villain, uses an opportunity to touch Deku on the shoulder, and made spikes appear, touch Deku on his shoulder, and then he made spikes appear on his chest. And Deku, that didn't really hurt, but he's feeling really woozy. Feels like he's about to fall asleep. However, Deku then smirks. Do you really think that could hurt me? I've been doing all types of training to strengthen my body because of my quirk. I don't know how I'm gonna die. I don't know how I'm gonna avoid dying if I can't feel pain. So I strengthen my body so that even if I don't know I'm being attacked, my body can still defend against it. Now, die. As then, with a swift chop, the Deku severed the man's arms and legs, as the man was crying, and he was telling him to stop and let him go. Deku didn't care, as he was becoming quite the monster lately. His power has been getting to him. He's being more and more overconfident, letting his guard down, and this may even be the end of him for all he know. For all we know. So then, as the man was crying, he then ended it off for the guy and severed his head. And then he stomped his brain. He then stomped his severed head, shattering his skull and even destroying smashing his brain, his brain, his dead brain. So then Deku then smiled and left a message saying that he's coming after the other villain, which is another villain like that he's coming after, just to leave a message for him as he jumped away. Now, the news got report of this, and the police investigated it and saw the guy's mashed brain and his shattered skulls on the severed head, and his severed arms and legs, and they got really scared. And then the heroes caught wind of this, knowing that there's killer, a monster. He decided to put a bounty on his head, just to get rid of him fast. Now, now they made Deku an S rank vigilante. Now, in this story, there's different ranks for villains and vigilantes, and even heroes. So, we're gonna say that they made him be an S rank and vigilante, and even gave him let's say they gave him a 30 million bounty. You probably, those One Piece fans, you probably know what the 30 million million bounty is. So yeah, leaving that information to you. So now let's go to the next couple of days, as Kokomi has already had a twisted has with Deku around, she's developed quite a twisted sense, or has low morality at this point, as she now thinks that bad, false heroes and villains should die, as well as people who use their quirks to inflict pain on the innocent, similar to Bakugo and the other people Kokomi knew, like her bullies, and even her parents, even her father at some point in her life told her that. So now we're in a sparring session, as Deku is fighting Kokomi, as Kokomi they're doing insanely well. She's been very good, so far. She's basically very she's a genius at martial arts combat, and combat in general. So basically she's fighting, and then Deku then was about to deliver a punch after he vanished from sight, and about to give a punch to her. Then he stopped, and Kokomi was confused. Well, why did you stop, Sensei? Well, you see, I want to test how strong you've gotten the past 2 months, so will allow you to take off the weighted clothing, just for this sparring session. So I've got to explain before I ran out of time. So basically, as the months went on, as as days went on, Deku added more and more clothing, more and more pounds on the weighted clothing, and then Deku's weighted clothing is about 2 or 3 tons, and basically his hero suit is 10 tons, and that's not even holding him back at that point. So at first, when she got 1 ton of weighted clothing, it was very hard to move. She could barely move at all. But then she got used to it, and got an insane boost of power after wearing it for the couple of like 3 weeks or so. So yeah, now she is happy and says, yes, I can finally stop using this weighted clothing in this sparring session. And then she took it off, and then there was a huge crater where the weighted clothing was there was a crater where the weighted clothing was, as then she vanished she vanished and appeared right behind Deku. However, as he predicted this, as then he sidestepped it and then delivered a punch right in her face. As she then stumbled back a little bit and she said, "How can you always predict my moves, Sensei?" It's because you're too predictable. As he vanished and then delivered a kick to her stomach, as she coughed up a little bit of spit, and then he started punching her over and over again in the face. And then after that, he then kicked her back in the chest. In the chest, right? And she fell, and then she got up, and she basically fell. She then got up and even stumbled a little bit. And then Deku smiles. You've done well. Now we're going to up the training a little bit more.